Alright you guys, ZFR back here once again, and I don't really know how to start this video because man, I just have so much to say about Cyberpunk 2077. Now obviously this has been one of the most hyped games of the generation, especially for me. I've been super excited about this game, and you guys know I've been hyping it up all the way to launch. I've been super excited to play, and we had it, and it's been out for about 2 weeks, and I haven't said anything about my experience yet. I know some of you guys are probably waiting to hear what I think. Now, the reason, first off, I haven't talked about it really quickly so far after 2 weeks of it being out. I know some of you are probably like, what's that about? Pretty much the reason boils down to two things. One, I was going to walk through where you guys can actually see me play through the game and stuff like that, but some technical difficulties kind of screwed it up and stuff like that. So I ended up having to scrap that idea and going with plan B, which was pretty much just to play through the game in its completed form and just kind of then, you know, tell you guys what I think about. Also, number two is that there were a lot of performance issues. The game obviously launched in a pretty bad state, which has a lot of people very upset. So, you know, I was kind of busy just trying to get through the game, dealing with the fact that the walkthrough ideal just kind of went to crap, and just kind of getting stuff set up for you guys so I can actually start making videos for the game. I actually had a lot of fun with the game though. So here's what I want to do. I want to do this rant video, right? I want to make this into a rant because this is going to be a really long video. And I did make a script for this, but I think I'm going to kind of just skim over the script. I don't really feel like doing a scripted video for this one. I just kind of want to talk to you guys from, you know, how I actually feel about the game and stuff like that, and kind of try to stay on topic because I don't want to make this 7 videos put all into one video, you know. I don't want to make this super long, but I do kind of want to go over a lot or as much as I can in this video to give you guys a general idea. And you guys know how we go. We'll go more in depth on some of this stuff that I think is worthy of a second video, and, you know, more videos and stuff like that. We'll break it up into multiple videos. But for now, I just kind of want to give you guys my overall kind of first impressions slash kind of review of the game. But I'm going to say first impressions for now. I might do a more complete video talking about how I feel about the game and stuff later on. So let's see, where do we even start with this? First off, there's a lot of hate going around for the game right now. And no, you know what? I don't want to call it hate. I'll call it criticism because it is warranted. Okay, the state this game launched in, there's a lot of problems here. Okay, glitches, bugs, you know, missing content, you name it, it's here. This game has a lot of problems. But at the same time, underneath it all does lie a pretty good foundation for a new franchise and stuff. And I still overall want to stress this point because you guys know how my videos go. We're getting ready to lay into this game, okay? Don't worry. But I do want to stress the point that I still did love this game. This is still my favorite game this year. I don't know if it beats Witcher 3 or even Last of Us Part 1 for me, but I did enjoy this game a lot. So we're going to go through, we're going to talk about it, we're going to talk about all the stuff I liked, we're going to talk about all the stuff I didn't like, all the stuff that I despise, because there are a couple things in there. But yeah, we're going to break Cyberpunk 2077 down in this video. So, you know, sit back, get a snack maybe, and just strap in because this is going to be a long one. It is a rant after all. But like I said, we're going to try to keep it as, you know, kind of compact as we can. So let's go ahead and get into this, you guys. Alright, so starting off, since I do have a lot to criticize here, I do want to go over everything that I did really like and that I thought was, above average and very exceptional about this game. I do want to talk about the things that I really did enjoy with this game that is going to keep me playing it for, years to come and stuff. Because like I said, I really did like the game. I don't want to give the impression that I didn't enjoy this game, because you guys know I don't take it easy on games. That even the games that I love on this channel, I don't take it easy on them. I really do try to give my fully honest opinion and try to stay as unbiased as possible. So, what are some of the things I liked about Cyberpunk 2077? First off, let's start with the story. The story in this game was pretty good. Now, don't get me wrong, there is some stuff about the story that I didn't like, but it's not about what's here, it's more about what wasn't here with the story. So, we'll talk about that a little bit more later on, but I did really enjoy the story. A lot of the characters were really good in this. I don't think I can think back to one bad character in the story at this moment, and even then, let me just throw it out there. I'm on my second playthrough of the game already. I'm playing through the Nomad path, as you can see in the background now, and pretty much I'm really enjoying it. I'm not bored again after replaying back through the same missions and stuff. Choosing different dialogue options, but those don't change too much, which is once again something we'll get into later. But overall, the story is really well crafted. The characters are all really good. The side characters have some pretty good quest lines and quest chains that you can kind of complete to really flush their characters out a lot more. So yeah, there's a lot here to enjoy narrative wise. If you're a really big story person, this game is going to have a lot of great stuff for you. And there's definitely a ton of content here. Like I said, I didn't check how many hours I put in this game, but I've been playing it every night for the past 2 weeks. So yeah, I definitely have, I'm going to say close to somewhere between gotta be 60 and 100 hours into the game so far. So I definitely have put a lot of time in. I'm on my second playthrough, like I said, and yet I still haven't seen everything. I still haven't met every character we've seen in the trailers and stuff like that. So yeah, there's still a lot more to see in the game for me. I'm just kind of taking my time with it and enjoying it. And yeah, I'm not bored yet, so that's really good, because the narrative, that means the narrative is keeping me entertained. It's doing a good job of keeping me pushing forward and stuff like that. And just building up the world, the characters, and the lore. So yeah, all of that is really good. The next thing I really did like was the gameplay. This game is fun. Okay, that's basically the word that I would sum the gameplay up as. The game is really fun. It's fun to shoot guns and stuff like that. There's a lot of different types of guns and variants and all that, even though I kind of have a problem with that, as you guys probably can guess from some of my Ghost Recon videos what my problem there might be. But once again, we'll talk about that later on in the more negative part of the video. But overall, I did enjoy most of the guns. I like the way they feel. They have different cool little features and attributes with some of the guns, like the smart weapons, the tech weapons, the power weapons, ricochet bullets and everything. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff here to experiment with gameplay wise. Not to mention the perk tree is really expansive. Now, it's not all of it is super useful, and that's a problem, but there is enough there to give you a good amount of variety. You can definitely have some fun with it. So yeah, overall the gameplay and stuff like that just it's really fun to me. I don't know, I've just been super addicted to just jumping in and going around Night City and just exploring and having fun and stuff. Now the open world itself is another thing that I did like. I like the look of Night City, okay? Night City looks great. It's really well designed. Like, I'm really impressed with the level design here. The verticality and stuff in the city is like nothing I've ever seen before in an open world game. Like, the way they structured and create this city is pretty amazing. Even though some of the smaller side stuff in the city is kind of repetitive and doesn't have the kind of depth that I expected from the same people that made Witcher 3, it's still pretty good. Like, I still really enjoyed exploring around the world and all that different stuff. Had a ton of fun doing it. Also, of course, the visuals are really good. And by the way, I forgot to mention this. I don't know how I forgot to mention this, but this is a really important point, guys. I am playing on PS4 Slim, okay? I did not get a PS5 because, you know, the whole scalper situation. So, I am still on previous gen consoles. I am still looking around for a PS5 to see if I can get one soon. But, yeah, pretty much from what I've been playing, even on PS4 Slim, the game visually looks really good. So yeah, there is a lot here to like about the game. There is a lot to praise it about, and I'll do a lot of that in other videos. I'll kind of be doing a ton of videos for this game, so you'll get to see a lot of the things that I find really cool and that I find really enjoyable in this game. But for now, let's kind of move on to the more negative things I kind of have to talk about when it comes to this game, because I do have a lot to criticize here. This is a rant video after all. I just didn't want you guys to think that I completely hate the game. I actually really love the game, which is why I feel the need to be critical of it, because I really want to see them fix it and bring it up to par. Okay, now on to some of the things that I'm not too crazy about when it comes to this game. Now, you guys already know, you already know from my Ghost Recon Breakpoint videos that this loot system is a massive problem for me. And for people who think I'm just being hard on Cyberpunk here, go back and watch my earlier videos on Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And you'll see that, like, this is nothing new with me when it comes to this type of loot system. I just cannot stand these types of loot systems in games. As you guys know, in my opinion, this type of loot system has literally been a plague on video games this entire generation. I just cannot stand when developers put this loot system in their games, because to me this just feels like a very lazy version of what a good loot system should be. You know, when I think of a good loot system, I think about to the first video reveal for Destiny. Who remembers that when the guy was going through a tunnel, he killed an epic boss, and that boss dropped a really cool, really nice, well-designed light machine gun and stuff like that was special and that you could only get, and we all thought you could only get from that guy at that part of the game. Well, it turns out, as we all know, like, that Destiny turned out to be that type of looter shooter system where you could get different types of loot from anywhere in the game and stuff like that, and you can get duplicates, you could get variants, you could get all this pretty much all of these better versions of what you already had, and it pretty much didn't matter what you picked up at certain points in the game, because you were going to get way better versions of those things later on, or guns that just completely outclassed them in terms of DPS and level and stuff like that. And I just don't like this system in games. I very much wish games would go back to the system of, hey, you know, dive into like this really epic dungeon, kill this really epic boss, and, you know, get this really epic weapon that is going to now have a story behind it that now can be useful to you for the rest of the game if you want to invest, you know, resources and stuff that you collect around the game world into that specific weapon. If that's what you want your signature thing to be, it can be, and you can use it for the entirety of your playthrough. But unfortunately, a lot of games this generation decide not to go that route and decide to go the looter shooter route. And unfortunately, Cyberpunk 2077 turned out to be one of those games. And listen, if I had known the game was going this route, I would have said something. But I don't know how I didn't think of that. But I just did not expect this game to go the straight up looter shooter route. I was expecting, from what we saw in the trailers, and sorry about that's a little alarm I got. It just went off. But I was expecting from a lot of trailers and stuff we were seeing. I don't know why, but I just expected, you know, the weapons in this game to be more special, for them to be, you know, a lot more detailed, and for everyone you picked up to just be something different and something really nice, and for you to be able to really get in there and customize your weapons, to mod them out and stuff like that, to just make your own personal play style, your own personal V, which is a big problem with this game, by the way, which we're going to get into in a second. The customization overall is just lacking, and this loot system is, I guarantee you, this loot system is one of the big reasons why these types of loot systems are bad, because they focus, they allow the developer not to be lazy. It's pretty much what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say CD Projekt Red is lazy, but with a loot system like this unfortunately is the undeniable lazy way out for this type of game. A much better system would have been for them to kind of have it where gunsmiths around the world, or gun vendors in the world of Cyberpunk, just sold you like basic weapons, pistols, assault rifles like the Copperhead and the normal double barrel, stuff like that. And then you would go out into the world and you would have to fight certain bosses, take down certain enemies, dive into certain gang bases and stuff like that, to collect some of the more high-tech weapons, like the tech weapons, like the tech double barrel shotgun, the, what you call it, there's that one rifle, I forget what you call the thing, but it's like a rifle that penetrates through walls. You guys know what I'm talking about. And then of course the smart weapons and all that. You know, you should have just been able to get a lot of those cooler, more exotic weapons in cool, exotic ways, instead of you just killing random enemies and a new, better version of what you just got being dropped every 5 seconds. I'm sorry, I just don't like the system. It destroys your ability to really get in there and customize your V. Because if that system wasn't there, they would have had the focus more on weapon customization. If you only picked up, like, let's use the Copperhead assault rifle, for example, because that, at the moment, that's the only gun for some reason I can remember the name of in the game. But let's say you pick that up. That should be the only time you pick that up during this game, and you should be able to customize that and upgrade it with different mods and attachments and stuff like that throughout the rest of the game. You shouldn't have to recollect these weapons over and over and constantly swap them out. It's just a lazy way to kind of give the player this feeling of being rewarded, when in reality they could have come up with a much more cinematic, much more immersive way to do it, while also giving players ways to come up with really crazy and different types of weapons. Like, you could have given the player the option to build their own weapons here, and you just didn't. So I was really disappointed with that. And the same goes for the clothing. Like, the clothing, as everybody knows, one of the big memes right now is that you look ridiculous, because you know, you're just constantly trying to put on whatever has the highest DPS. And sure, don't get me wrong, DPS doesn't matter as much as you might think in this game. You can get away with wearing some weaker stuff, as long as you set up your build and stuff to that kind of play style. But you shouldn't have to do all that. You should be able to wear what you want, look how you want, and play how you want, you know, without having to worry about level gating and stuff like that. what level your gear is and everything, because none of that was promoted during like the promotional stuff, during the advertisement of the game. You know, that's something that was very last second thrown on the players. Players thought they were going to be able to jump into this and make their V their own, make their own kind of, you know, their own kind of version of V in this world. So the fact that, you know, they just ruined that with the loot system, that I've dreaded this entire generation. It's literally ruined so many good games. Destiny, Warframe, The Division, Anthem, now this game, you name it, that loot system has ruined so many potentially really good games. So yeah, I'm very upset about the loot system, but I'm not gonna stay on that too long, because oh man, you guys already know I can just go over that loot system forever. Like, that can be a whole video on its own for me. So anyway, now that I'm done complaining about the loot system, and once again, you're probably going to get a separate video about that just because I hate it so much. But now that I'm done with the loot system, let's talk about the economy in the game. It's very bad to say that the economy in this game is kind of broken and it's kind of not good. I've already heard about the whole crafting situation where you know, it's kind of not worth the crafting tree isn't really worth it. But on top of that, you can really dismantle some really weak items to get way better items and stuff like that, and you can resell them and just, you know, take advantage of the system completely. It doesn't seem balanced, it doesn't seem tested at all. You know, certain things in the game are super expensive. And then there are things in here you can buy that you don't even get to use. It's like they had planned for you to use some of this vendor stuff, like the brain dances that you can buy in the game, but you have nowhere to use them. And you know, it's just like stuff like that is really disappointing and really kind of sucky. It's like, why even put it in there as something you can purchase to begin with? So yeah, a lot of people feel like there's a lot of cut content there and stuff like that. And once again, even going back to what I was saying about the game's economy, like even when it comes to like stuff like the weapons and how they perform, you know, against enemies and the levels and all of that, like it all just feels very untested, very rushed, and a little messy. So yeah, I don't know. I just wish they would kind of polish that out a bit, you know what I'm saying? Like a shotgun that's relatively on the same level I am shouldn't really be, you know, taking like 5 different shots to kill somebody at close range, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't be selling weapons for like 150 eddies, but then when I want to buy one, it costs like 2,000 eddies and stuff like that. You know, just things like that. It just kind of sucks, man. You know, the cars in the game are all super expensive, and you don't really get paid out enough in order to get them at a reasonable rate. But you know, I mean, I guess that's not too bad. You can just save up for the ones you want, and you can just grind out the other stuff if you really want to be a big spender in the game and stuff like that. But overall, the economy just feels, I don't know, it feels once again like it wasn't tested at all. So that is a little disappointing. Now, moving on to one of the last really unpleasant things that I do want to talk about in this game is actually, you know, a lot of the false advertisement, you know, the false sense of choice in this game. And pretty much this is basically what I just want to cover, pretty much how a lot of this game was marketed to be something that it wasn't. You know, we thought that we were going to be able to jump into this game and that it was going to be this really open RPG, kind of like a Fallout type deal, but you know, really polished and really, you know, like Fallout but better basically, and you know, kind of mixed in with the whole Witcher type game structure and stuff like that. So the fact that we get into this game and that a lot of these choices don't really matter. The fact that, you know, whether you play Nomad, Street Kid, or Corporal doesn't really matter outside the first 15 or 30 minutes. You know, the fact that you're basically, no matter what choices you make, you're pretty much going to play the same exact game every playthrough except for the endings with different dialogue options here and there throughout the game, and sometimes not even that. Like, the fact that this game isn't like that is very, very disappointing, because that is what was advertised for us. Go back and look at the advertising for this game. This game was advertised to have a lot more choice, to have a lot more options in it than it really does. Like, I really thought you were going to be able to jump into this and you were going to be experiencing like different campaign outcomes, like how you, like, I'm sorry, but Fallout 4 literally had more diversity in terms of like the outcomes that you could get from your choices than this game. You know, depending on different factions and characters that you sided with in Fallout 4, you might get completely different campaigns in that game, depending on who you decide to do quests and stuff for. But in this game, guys, it doesn't matter until like the last few seconds. You can just, oh well, not the last few seconds, but the last hour or so is the only thing that's really different in this game, that depending on the choices you make. That in the first 30 minutes of each life path, of course. But other than that, you know, there's not really any consequences for your choices. You can't be a super bad guy. You can't be a super good guy. You can't, you know, kind of mix it up and have your character have different hang-ups, different, you know, passions. You can't really go through and customize your character the way we all thought you would be able to on, you know, actual writing level. You can't go through and make your V whoever you want them to be in this game. You know, basically what I'm trying to say is, even The Witcher 3, where Geralt was a much more, you know, predetermined character, he still had more choice and more consequence than the characters in this game, and that's really unfortunate to say. So yeah, that doesn't make any sense considering what type of game this is supposed to be, considering what type of game this was marketed to be. There's just no consequence for the different choices that you might make in this game. All the choices lead down the same path until like the very end of the game, and that's really disappointing to see, because I don't think that's what a lot of us were expecting, and I don't know, you know, that's just kind of really disappointing. Not to mention, there's a ton of other missing features from this game. And I mean, like the cyberware, for instance, nowhere is detailed. There's literally things missing from the cyberware that we saw in the trailers. I know they said the wall running and stuff like that with the mantis blades got removed. I remember they announced that. But then we get into the game with the nanowire, and you can't even quick hack people anymore with the nanowire. Like, now it's just pretty much a melee weapon. So yeah, changes like that they didn't say anything about leading up to release. It's just kind of sucky to see them. You know, it seems like a lot of content was also cut, because for those of you who don't realize this, Keanu Reeves apparently didn't join in this game and into this project until 2019. Keep in mind, the first time we saw Cyberpunk, the first time we saw the footage that you're seeing in the background right now was 2018. So keep in mind that a lot of this game circles around Keanu Reeves, circles around Johnny Silverhand. And there's certain things like him originally being back when they still had the system where it was going to be like you could have a childhood hero and stuff like that. He was one of them, and there's different evidence and stuff going around that's been spotted in some of the older gameplay, demos and trailers and stuff like that, where it kind of points to the fact that he originally wasn't going to be a big part of this game. So a lot of people feel like CD Projekt Red might have rewrote this entire story last minute to kind of add more Keanu Reeves in. And I gotta admit, I kind of think that might be what happened. Like, that kind of seems like a possibility, especially because towards the beginning of the game, when your character first enters Night City or first gets to Night City, or pretty much at the beginning of the game, there's literally a 6-month time skip where you kind of get to know Jackie and you kind of do a bunch of jobs with him and kind of make your way up in the world of Cyberpunk and start to build your reputation and stuff like that. Why does it feel like some of that probably was supposed to be playable? It kind of feels like we skipped over some important stuff there. I might be wrong, but I don't know, man. It feels like that's kind of the... It feels like this game was marketed to be kind of the rags to riches story, kind of almost like GTA, but not to compare it to GTA or anything, but it kind of feels like it was supposed to be that kind of story where you could become a legend, where you could go all these different ways about it, and it kind of feels like it turned into something else along the way. Because, and don't get me wrong, once again, I did like the story that was here, but it felt a lot more linear than what a lot of us originally thought we were going to be able to do. And I can't blame people for being disappointed about that. And listen, once again, like I said, I don't want to make this video too long. We're already at 33 minutes, like Jesus. So I'm not going to go too much longer with this video, but just know this. Just know this. I pretty much, even though I really do love this game, and I'm going to be making content for this game, I'm going to talk about this game, I am still going to be criticizing this game. I am still going to be one of the people trying to push for the developers to add things that were promised in, to add, maybe even go back and change certain parts of this game, because some of this in here needs to be changed. And like I said, I could never cover everything that I have a problem with or that I like or that I want to talk about in this one video. I just kind of want to get my opinion about the game out there to you guys. I feel like I haven't even covered half of what I really want to talk about, but I feel like I've gotten a lot of the big stuff that bothers me out of the way. And of course there are the bugs, but I mean, I don't really know what to say about those. I mean, like, they're bad. Bugs, glitches and stuff are bad. Now, like I said, I did play on PS4 Slim, and I didn't have an extreme amount of problems like some people were having. I somehow end up having not that bad of an experience. Like, I still definitely had glitches and bugs, but the main problems for me during my playthrough seemed to be frame rate drops, and then of course the crashes. Like, my game, even now after all the patches, even after patch 1.06 or whatever, it still crashes like after every 2 hours or so. So yeah, the game still has a ton of issues. It still has a long way to go. They're supposed to be dropping some really big patches for it coming up in January. So we'll see. I'm going to be making content for it up until then. I'm going to be playing a lot of it up until then. I'm going to try to get through a playthrough as the Nomad and then one as the Corpo. And we'll have more content and stuff like that coming out. Obviously, we're going to be doing build videos for the game. We're going to be, once again, doing more criticism videos. Like, I feel like that loot system needs a video all by itself. I have a lot. I'm sorry. I just have a lot of I have a lot of tension to just kind of express about that loot system. Like, I really can't believe that that made it into Cyberpunk. Like, God, man, what are developers thinking with that thing? But anyway, so with that being said, I really enjoyed making this video for you guys. This is the first video I've worked on in almost 2 weeks, so excuse me for that. But like I said, in 2021, we are going to be really starting to pump these videos out really fast. I am working with new programs, with new hardware, new everything. So that's kind of also been why things have been going slower. I'm kind of getting a hang of a lot of the new stuff that I've upgraded. I'm trying to upgrade my PC a little bit too, but you know, that it's tough right now, and you know, I'm just trying to make sure I get something out there for you guys. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave likes and comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more Cyberpunk 2077 content, because we are going to be talking about the game a lot. And if you like this video, there is more coming in the future. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to do all that great stuff down below, and I will see you on the next one. ZFR out, guys.